All right, so next up, let's tackle mark and recapture. So big A is always, what is the total area size? You could think about this like total number of squares, total amount of liquid. It's going to be some really big number that we don't want to count one by one. So whether it's all the students in all the classes at Silver Creek, I don't want to go and count every single one in every single room. So we're just going to take a subset and use that to give us an estimate. And that's all it is. It's an estimate. Now, these have to be selected randomly. You can't go out and pick, okay, I want to do this room or I want to go to this square. You have to use something that will randomize which squares you visit. Now, I changed these to numbers just to make finding big A a little bit easier. So it's 10 blocks that way by 10 blocks this way. And that would make big A 100. So in this case, 100 squares. I'm just going to put a meter squared. So let's just say it's 1 meter. Okay. Now, little a is, well, how many did you go out and measure? In this case, I went out and measured 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I don't feel like measuring all 100 squares. So 5 meters squared. All right, what about little n? Little n is, okay, out of the 5 that I sampled, how many were in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I had 15 sunflowers or 15 barnacles or 15 sea monkeys, whatever it happens to be. And now it's just a matter of letting the equation do the rest of the work. So this is always big A over little a. Do that first, multiplied by little n. So in this case, we're going 100 divided by 5 times 15 is going to give us our n. So bring in our handy dandy calculator. And let's go 100 divided by 5. Some of you can do this in your head, which is fine. 15. And it's telling us the number of sunflowers in this area is probably close to 300. Now, is it actually 300? No, it's 228. But the number will be close. Like if this number is, I don't know, it's 5,000 and this is 228, you did something wrong. Or if this number is 75 and there's 228, something is probably wrong. All right, now, how do you do it for liquids? So let's say we go out to the ocean. And we pull up, sorry about the terrible looking flask, we pull up some sea monkeys. And this happens to be, I don't know, let's call it 7,500 milliliters. All right. None of us want to count all the sea monkeys in there. Too many. So that means that this is our big A. Big A is equal to 7,500 mLs. Got little a, we got little n, and then we're trying to solve for big N. All right. So now, you and a team, or maybe you by yourself, you have to sample a certain number of mLs. This is important because it's not how many trials you do, it's how many mLs you sample. Okay. So this is not about how many times did I visit the squares. It doesn't matter. What matters is how many squares did you visit. In this case, you went to 5 square meters. Okay. So it's not about, okay, I did 3 trials. What matters is how much liquid did you sample. So let's make a scenario where you take samples. This is sample 1, sample 2, sample 3. You could have more if you want. Little a is not 3 because what it's asking you is how many mLs did you sample. You don't even know that yet. You just know you took out mLs. You don't know how much yet, but you know you did it 3 times, or maybe you had 3 group members. So let's say that for each of these samples, you pull out 2 mLs for each sample. At the very end, how many mLs would you have sampled? Well, there was 2 mLs here, 2 mLs here, 2 mLs here. Well, our group, or I, sampled 6 mLs. Again, this is why it's not 3, because this is just trials, not how many mLs you sampled. So 2 mLs goes there, and 2 mLs goes there. Okay, now how many sea monkeys did you find? Or whatever you're looking for. And we'll just use sea monkeys. Sea monkeys. Let's just say in these 2 mLs you found 10. In these 2 mLs you found 5. And in these 2 mLs on your third trial, third one you did, you found 15. Okay, so it's asking, in the 6 mLs that you sampled, how many did you find? Well, 10 plus 5, 15, plus another 15, well, gives me 30. Now run your equation. So in this case, big A is 7,500 mLs. All right, how many mLs did your team sample, or you sampled? Well, you sampled 6 mLs. Remember, 2 mLs here, 2 mLs here, 2 mLs there. Times, how many did you find in the 6 mLs? 30. Bringing the hand-dandy calculator. Let it do the rest of the work. 7,500 divided by 6 mLs times 30. And it says that there are probably 37,500 sea monkeys in the 7,500 mLs. All right. Want another sample problem? Sure. This time, let's just say we get, I don't know, 8,200 mLs. And there's a bunch of sea monkeys in there. Okay. How many samples do we take? Let's say we take 5 samples. Sample 1, sample 2, sample 3, sample 4, sample 5. All right. How many mLs do we sample? Well, let's just say each time we sample 3 mLs. Okay, so each sample is 3 mLs worth of liquid. And then we're counting how many sea monkeys there are. Sea monkeys. So let's say in 3 mLs we found 15, 17, 13, 5, and 10. Let's set up our equation. Big A is equal to 8,200. Little a, this is where a lot of people are going to mess up. It's not 5. Because we want to figure out how many mLs did you sample or did your team sample. Well, we took 5 samples and each of them were 3 mLs apiece. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. You sampled 15 mLs. All right, inside of those 15 mLs, how many sea monkeys did you find? All right, so that's 30. So I can do this in my head, but let's do it in the calculator. Okay, not freak all you guys out. 15 plus 17 plus 13 plus 5 plus 10. We sampled 60 inside of those 15 mLs. All right, now let's let the equation do the rest of the work. So we're trying to find big N. 8,200 divided by 15 mL sampled times 60 things that we found in those 15 mLs. 1,200 divided by 15 times 60 gives us 32,000. And I'm going to round this to, 32,800. So it's guessing that there's probably 32,800 sea monkeys in there. All right, so make sure you pay attention to this right here. This is one that I want you to get right on the test. Make sure it's about how many mLs did you sample, not how many samples did you take.